You're eating a sandwich right now. You have no idea what you're running. Ancient technology. In your hands. Not the bread. Not the cheese. The fact you eat it in 4 bites. Your jaw is too small for this. Your teeth are too small. Your gut is way too short. None of it should work. But it does. Something happened to your ancestors. They never saw it coming. They didn't invent cooking. They stumbled into it. By accident. Total accident. And it rewired their bodies. Before they even understood. By the end of this, you'll never look at a campfire the same way again. Go back 2 million years. Before language. Before clothes. Before anything human. There's a creature out there. Walking upright. Barely. Brain the size of a chimp's. Spending 8 hours a day chewing. Just chewing. Raw meat. Raw roots. Raw everything. Tough. Stringy. Barely digestible. 8 hours. Just to survive tomorrow. That's not living. That's maintenance. And then something changes. Not on purpose. Lightning hits a tree. A fire spreads through dry brush. Something gets left behind near the flames. A root. A scrap of meat. Found later. Half burned in the ash. Someone's hungry enough to eat it anyway. And the whole world just shifted. Nobody in that moment had any idea. Here's the part that should stop you cold. Cooking doesn't just make food taste better. It changes how many calories your body can actually pull from it. A raw potato gives you a fraction of its energy. Cooked, that same potato unlocks dramatically more. Same food. Same weight. Completely different fuel. Heat breaks down the cell walls. It does outside your body what your stomach used to struggle through. Digestion just got outsourced to fire. And a creature that chewed all day just got hours of its life back. What do you think happened to all that spare time? It didn't disappear. It went somewhere. And where it went is the part nobody tells you. Think about your own day for a second. You eat in under 10 minutes. You don't think about food again until lunch. You have hours of mental energy left over. To argue, plan, scroll, build, create. You take that completely for granted. Your ancestors didn't have that margin. Chewing raw food all day left almost nothing in the tank. No spare energy for big brains. And big brains are expensive. They burn through calories at a brutal rate, even sitting still. There's research out of Harvard that found something genuinely strange. Primates eating cooked, calorie-dense diets have bigger brains relative to body size than primates eating raw, fibrous ones. It's not a coincidence. It's a budget. And cooking blew that budget wide open. Here's the part that should actually unsettle you. Cooked food didn't just feed bigger brains. Some researchers think it made bigger brains possible in the first place. Without that extra energy, that extra time, that extra fuel, the brain you're using right now might not exist at all. You are, quite literally, thinking with a fire-shaped brain. But here's the cliffhanger. None of that explains the moment it actually clicked. The moment it stopped being an accident and became a habit. Stumbling onto cooked meat once, that's luck. Doing it again, every single day, forever, that's something else entirely. So think of fire like a key you found lying on the ground. You don't know what it opens. You just know it's useful. So you keep it close. Early humans kept fire long before they understood why it mattered. They tended it. They protected it. They carried embers between camps like a fragile, irreplaceable secret. Lose the fire, and you start from nothing. So someone always watched it. Through the night. Through the rain. That's how seriously they took it. There's evidence of hearths in caves going back hundreds of thousands of years. Layers of ash, stacked one on top of the other. Not one fire. Generations of fires, in the exact same spot. That tells you something. This wasn't a one-time discovery. It was a habit passed down, parent to child, for longer than you can really picture. And slowly, by accident, by hungry curiosity, they noticed something. Meat that sat too close to the flame tasted different, chewed easier, sat better in the stomach. That's the technical term, by the way. Sat better. Your body was telling them something their brains hadn't caught up to yet. Here's the mechanism, stripped all the way down. Heat unwinds proteins. It's called denaturing. Picture a tightly folded piece of paper getting smoothed flat. Your enzymes can grab it easily now instead of fighting with it. Same thing happens with starches. Heat swells them, breaks them apart, makes them easy to absorb instead of locked inside tough plant fibers. You're not eating different food when something's cooked. You're eating predigested food. Fire is doing a chunk of your stomach's job before it even reaches your mouth. Think about what that frees up. Your gut used to be a factory running at full capacity, all day, every day. Cooking shrinks that factory's workload. And over generations, the factory itself shrinks too. Shorter intestines, smaller stomachs, less of your body spent on grinding through raw fiber, more of your energy budget free for something else entirely. Compare that to a gorilla for a second. Massive gut, massive jaw muscles, skull built like a helmet just to hold the chewing machinery. Almost all of its energy goes into processing raw plants. Humans went the opposite direction. Smaller gut, smaller jaw, and all that freed up energy poured into one organ instead, the brain. That trade-off is sitting in your skull right now. And here's the zoom-out moment, the one that actually matters. This wasn't just a dietary upgrade. It was an energy revolution, the same as discovering oil or electricity. Except this one happened around a campfire instead of a factory floor. Every major leap in human history runs on the same hidden pattern. Find a way to extract more energy from the same resource. Use that surplus to build something new. Cooking was the first time we ever did this to our own biology. So that creature from the beginning, chewing 8 hours a day, it didn't get smarter because it wanted to. It got smarter because fire gave it the spare energy to afford it. That's the loop. That's the whole secret, hiding in plain sight. It also changed something else, something quieter. Cooked food meant shorter meal times. Shorter meal times meant people sitting around after eating, not still chewing. That's not nothing. That's the first time humans had spare social time built into the day. Some researchers think that's where conversation got its real start. Not hunting, not survival, sitting around a fire with nothing left to chew. Stories probably started right there. Someone describing a hunt, someone making the others laugh. The fire wasn't just cooking food anymore. It was holding people in one place, facing each other, for hours after the meal was already done. No other animal does that. Eat, then sit, then talk. That rhythm is older than you think, and it's still exactly how your evenings work. There's another piece of this that rarely gets mentioned. Cooking didn't just change individuals. It changed the group. If food takes hours to chew, you eat alone whenever you find something. If food takes minutes to cook, you wait for everyone, and you eat together. That single shift created the first dinner table, long before anyone built an actual table. A fixed time, a fixed place, a fixed group of people facing the same flames. Anthropologists call this one of the earliest forms of social bonding tied directly to food. Not because anyone planned it that way, because cooking forced people to slow down and share a moment they used to spend separately. Even predators noticed the shift. A group sitting still around a fire, full, relaxed, was no longer easy prey. Fire kept danger at a distance in a way raw foraging never could. So the same flames doing the cooking were also doing the protecting. Two problems solved by one accidental discovery: energy and safety, both handed over by something humans didn't even understand yet. This is why some scientists call the control of fire the most underrated invention in human history. Not the wheel, not writing, fire, because without it, nothing else on that list happens. No spare energy for big brains means no capacity for the wheel, or writing, or anything that came after. Every single technology you've ever used is downstream of that first accidental ember. So here's what you do with this. Next time you're cooking dinner, pause for 1 second before you eat. That sizzle, that smell, that 10-minute meal you barely think about. That's not nothing. That's the exact same trick your ancestors stumbled into by accident. Except now you do it on purpose, every single day, without ever clocking it. You're not just feeding your body. You're running the same biological hack that built the human brain in the first place. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Every meal becomes a tiny echo of the moment that made you possible. If this broke something in your head, wait until you understand how language might have started the exact same way, by accident, around the same fires, because these two stories aren't separate at all. This video is just the introduction.